Well, the top of the morning to you. Welcome to Facebook Live. We're having our regular little get-together here from our home to yours. I got Anna working the AV and Adam doing the microphones and stuff, so we're making the best of it. Hope you guys are well. I hope your family's well. I hope you're staying healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the above. Obviously, there's some week by week, that's how we're all living these days. We see the case numbers are coming down, the hospitalizations are coming down, and we know that this first major wave we've seen here is starting to settle down quite a bit. We're hearing little rumblings of states, bit by bit, starting to open up and looking to open up. And like we talked about the last few weeks here, this isn't going to be flip the light switch. This is going to be a rolling start like we talked about. And I've got a few things to talk to you specifically about that today for yourself. Again, I'm going to try to keep you up to date as much as I can. We're getting some real-time information on a lot of fronts. Couple of things we've seen here just yesterday, the number of brand new home sales. So new construction sales down 15% for the month of March, projected to be down more than double that in the month of April. I'm watching that. By the way, new construction inventory is now at 6.4 months. So we haven't had that in a long time. Couple more things. There's a lot of information out there, and I got to be candid with you. You know, we're involved in some things and working on some media things, and I'm watching a lot of people on the TV quote statistics specifically around the housing market, or they'll get guys from Shark Tank and this and that or the other, whatever else. And there's just a lot of garbage. There's just a lot of real false information that's thrown around, and that's what's going on right now. And the media is having a field day with every story under the sun, and it's unfortunate because this, you know, the one thing I see, you know, Bev and I do our weekly trip to the grocery store. You can just tell people are out of sorts. You see people driving; they're not themselves, and they're kind of self-absorbed in the car, cut you off, don't even know they did it. No bad intentions, just kind of spaced out, and that's why today is a very, very important day. It's time to get the engine fired up a little bit. You're not as plugged in as you think you are. I'm not as plugged in as I think I've been, and it's time to get the engines rolling, and it's time to get the mind, heart, body, everything rolling. Some economists are predicting a 50% drop in the number of real estate transactions this year. Now, we're going to be sharing some information with you in the coming weeks. We've got Dr. Yoon and a few other folks coming back with the updated projections. I have some neat information to share with you today. But I'm going to say this. I don't believe there's going to be a 50% reduction in real estate transactions this year. Here's what I believe. I believe some agents and some brokerages are going to really struggle. And some of them are going to struggle mightily. Some people are, and we got this question a couple times last week, some of you are actually getting the work done right now, and you're getting criticized by people. Let me share with you. This deal right here is going to expose everybody's philosophy. There's people who think you should not be leaving your house under any conditions for the next 18 months. You know, they believe that. They believe until we have a vaccine, we can never move again. And there's people on the media who are communicating that. So there's going to be people who take shots at you. There's people taking shots at me, left, right, and center over this 5-circle fit challenge. Bring it on. I got big shoulders. And the reason being is that we're going to do something positive. We're going to focus our energies. We're not going to sit in the house, suck our thumb, and figure it out. You know, I watched the NFL draft last night, and it was funky, and it was goofy, and instead of 500,000 people in Nashville like there was last year, the commissioner was in his basement. But you know what? Me and the kids sat down and watched it. I had a chance to FaceTime our son and his wife, and we're watching the draft together, and it gave you something to look forward to. It was a sense of a little bit of normalcy. Hey, there's something coming here that could be good. There's something here with a little bit of excitement. And that's what we need to be doing. And that's what this 5-circle fit is all about. And so we're going to be sharing some upcoming episodes of the podcast. By the way, we've been knocking these things out. Here's just a list for you. In the last 5 weeks, I've done 20 presentations. And so I'm advocating for you, sharing for you, as well as out there on the marketplace on some other shows. Here's the next 10 days. I got another, I think, dozen of these. So we're going to be out there banging the drum, keep producing the best value we can. We have some really interesting people we've lined up for you. And speaking of some podcasts, obviously last Tuesday, which was episode 210, was the podcast entitled How to Be 5-Circle Fit. Please, please, please make sure you download that and listen to that. It's kind of essential to getting started with us today. Thursday's podcast was we interviewed Michael DeVito, who's the head of Wells Fargo Banking. And I wanted to know not just Wells Fargo's positions, I wanted to hear there's all this information about mortgages or not mortgages or no jumbo loans or not doing appraisals and all of these different and experts talking on TV. So I go, oh, great, get me the head of Wells Fargo, Michael DeVito. We had an excellent conversation. Very, very informative for you, very informative for your customers. Next Tuesday, I have an episode, which is number 212. Just recorded this, and you're going to love this. It's called The Coming Rebound. Again, something you won't hear on the nightly news, but it was with former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Dave Stevens. Dave Stevens was also the CEO and is still the CEO emeritus of the Mortgage Bankers Association. He was also in the real estate business. He was the president of Long and Foster at one stage. And Dave and I have known each other over 20 years. And I will say this, you are going to hear a fact-filled, data-driven, researched up the wazoo, extremely positive, encouraging view of the housing market. And so very important for you to listen to and very important for your customers to listen to. And normally I place these real estate specific calls on our Thursday shows and do our normal Brian Buffini show on Tuesdays, the mindset, motivation, methodologies of success. I moved this one to a Tuesday because everybody needs to hear this one. You're going to be fired up. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to hear some great data. You're going to hear some fantastic stats and quotes and how it actually appears from a guy that sat in the White House on many, many occasions under the Obama administration. So guy really knows his stuff. He's a sharp cookie, got a great mind, and a very, very powerful information. And again, we're trying to get you the real stuff. We're going straight to the source. We don't want you to get jacked up with you see some headline on the news. You know, get engaged, and we're going to get you the real stuff. And we're going to continue to get you the real stuff. I can't disclose all of what we have, but we have people we have attorney generals from major states that we have lined up to interview because we want to talk about this whole dynamic of opening up states and what's going to happen and how's it going to happen. And I got some challenging questions to ask these folks as well. So, anywho, we're going to keep bringing you the real life stuff. We've kind of out of our own office here at home, we've opened up our own Buffini News Network, it seems like. So we're doing our best. I'm here with the kids and my assistant Jeanette, kudos to her, Mr. David Lally, and then the team supporting behind that. So we're going to keep providing you the best information you can. Buffco is cranking. Yesterday we had 230 some associates on our all-servant leader meeting that Dermot led, and I had a chance to do a pop-by, and there was 230 faces, cranking it out, getting it done, coaching, serving, supporting, doing all the stuff that needs to be done, programming, re-engineering things, and getting it done. And by the way, in the midst of all this, Buffco, for the second year in a row, I've got my little handheld Post-its here, like, remember this used to be like on the Johnny Carson show or Jay Leno? So this is the Tech 100. And so for the second year in a row, Buffini & Company won the Housing Wire magazine. It's for driving innovation in the real estate industry. And Referral Maker CRM, once again, you know, people call me, old fogey, calls, notes, Popeyes, and at the same time, we got a big engine with great technology. So congrats to the team, and congrats to all of you, because you're working with cutting-edge stuff there with the Referral Maker CRM. So there we go, and on to the next part of the news here, right? So last week, I introduced you guys to the concept of this rolling start, right? Just like we have in NASCAR. And I've been learning about NASCAR. I would tell you, I'm starting to feel my inner redneck kicking in here. I got the headgear ready to go, and we're going to be starting the race here today. And we talked about this whole dynamic of the pace car. That the crash comes, red flag comes out, everybody stops. That's what's happened to our country. That's what's happened to our market. That's what's happened to our world. I had a chance to talk to my great friends in Royal LePage in Canada on Monday, and we had thousands of agents there. And you know, in addition to the virus, in addition to the economic shutdown, they had a mass shooting there in Nova Scotia, and brutal stuff. And so everything's just come to a full stop. But human beings are born to be resilient, and we're born to be alive. We overcome. That's what we're actually designed for. And that's what life is. And so right now, we just don't know because we've never experienced anything like this before in our lifetime. It happened 100 years ago, but we don't really know what to do. And by the way, the Spanish flu that killed 50 million people right around 100 years ago, right after that came the Roaring Twenties, just so you know. So we want to be part of that Roaring Twenties, and we want to get there early. The rolling start, the cars crash. First thing you got to do is you got to take care of those that are injured, those that are hurt, some that may have not made it. Then what you got to do is you got to clean up the track. That's all of what's going on right now. Then those that are able to get back in their cars and retake their positions. And when the time is right, the engines fire up, and not before time, you get the feel for the car, and then you start rolling, just slow rolling to start. The engine starts firing up. You start moving the tires to heat up the tires. You get the feel of the car. You have to get your mind's eye back into the racetrack. Like I said, I took my life in my hands yesterday with not that many cars in the road. People just going across the road, people making turns they shouldn't be making, people making a right on a red light where there's no right to be made. We're not quite connected. So there's people who are going to, one of these days, the green flag is going to come out, and we're going to start racing again, and a whole bunch of people are not going to be ready. A whole bunch of people have gotten into the mindset that they think they're operating at a higher level than they are. Some people are starting to get into the mindset, which is not very American, that the government's going to take care of me. That they're going to do it. Now here's the thing. We're all going to find out. I believe state, local, national governments are doing the very best they can. I think they're doing the very best they can. But as a devotee of Milton Friedman, there's limits to what a government can do. There always has been throughout history. Governments are not God. And there's gaps. They do a program to try to help out small businesses, and publicly traded businesses are jumping in. Okay, and Harvard University with billions and billions of dollars is jumping in to get a little bit of money from a program, and the local restaurant's not getting the money. That's just the way it happens. That's the way it always happens. None of these programs are perfect. Here's the thing. You can't control this virus. You can't control your mayor. You can't control your governor. You can't control the president. You can't control the Chinese government. You can't control the world. But you can control a few things. You can control your attitude. You can control your energy. And you can control your activities and what you do on a daily basis. That's what we're all about. That's why we're launching the 5 Circle Fit Challenge. We're going to get in the pace car. That's what the 5 Circle Fit Challenge is. We want to get you warmed up. We want to get you rolling. We want you to get in. Some of you are going to be like, ready to go. Hey, there's things to do. There's things to learn. There's skills to develop. There's acuity to develop. There's also a development process that needs to take place in reaching out and connecting with your customers. There's a place and a time. You can't just re-engage with your customers and start talking business when they're not ready to. You'll come off as a schmuck. So what you need to do is connect, engage, build up, build up. You need to build up the way your customers are going to build up as they get more back into their natural life, as people get back into the jobs that were lost. Over and over and over and over we go. And then one of these days we're going to go around the track a few times. You're going to go around the track a few times. Many of you, especially you rapid folks in your heritage profile, you want to go now. I'm ready to go now. The world's not ready. So right now is the time to get ready. You prepare in peacetime so you don't bleed in war. Now is the time to get ready. Training camp happens before the season begins. Our season, 2020 is the year of cancellation. Everything's been canceled. Everything's postponed. That's just what this year represents. By the way, I can give you a lot of historical examples of things like this happen in history. And so, here's a couple things. We want you to get to the rolling start. So we are starting right here. And because this is live TV, I don't get anything produced or edited. I have to work off stuff like this. Here we go. The 5 Circle Fit Challenge. We got this beautiful logo the team built. Love it. So we're going to start with that. Now, to get the ball rolling on this bad boy, if you haven't already started, it went live at 10 o'clock this morning. So if you're watching on Facebook, by the way, I'm all for doing a little multitasking. You can go over to your computer right now and you can go register. So what you do is you'll see this right here where it says, welcome. Let's go to buffiniandcompany.com for those of you new to us. And I'll get to this. The 5 Circle Fit Challenge is free to everyone to take. So welcome to the 5 Circle Fit Challenge. And you'll see right here, you'll register by clicking the Access Now button. Okay, so it says Access Now, and then you'll see a button to access your 90-day goal sheet. Okay, so what you want to do right here, we're going to start you off with your 90-day goals. Now, here's what's important, and here's the trick. The trick is we're going to bring this to you week by week. Now, I've designed the whole 90 days, but I've built it in little chunks so we can adjust based on the rhythm of how the market opens up and how the economics start to work. So we've got some flexibility for you. But what I do want you to do is kind of take a look at this, download, where do you want to be 90 days from now? And everything in here you can control. So you put in your date and by what date I will. And spiritually, I'll have read or done something in the spiritual circle every day. Okay? Family, I'm going to follow the action steps in the weekly plan every week. A little thing I've added is, for example, I got my Apple Watch back, right? So my Apple Watch, I lost it somewhere. I reordered one. One of the things this does is it has 3 circles on it. Movement, exercise, and standing. And one of my goals is that I'm going to have 3 circles every single day that I'm going to complete. We've got the exercises for the week. We've got the work to do. So just try to do this as best you can. Where do you want to be 90 days from now? Maybe I want to lose 15 pounds 90 days from now. I want to put that in here. Okay? So in the next 90 days, I want to lose 90 pounds. I want to have contacted everyone in my database. I want to have generated maybe 10, 20 referrals in the next 90 days. You can generate referrals prior to the market being ready to go, so you know. So you have your 90-day goals. The next thing you'll have, and we do this week by week, is we have our weekly action steps. And it's really cool. They've designed it really nicely. And one of the things this builds in, which even more so than our past training programs, is some flexibility. So, hey, I can read the Psalms every morning. Here's one particular Psalm I recommend for this particular time. I can download Headspace and start learning some meditation or prayer, the prayer app, or I'm going to donate or serve to a specific organization. So right now, food banks all over the country are maxed out. So that's one of the things we're doing. So I'm doing all 3 in here. Here's call one person relationship a day you haven't stayed in close contact with. And here's the deal. If you do 7 in one day, check the box. And so you have a nice little opportunity to check the box here every day. Go by it week by week. In the business, I'm going to talk about the business one here specifically because we have designed with our training program for you to really get focused on your business. And so I'll come back to that in a second. Some finances, okay? So we're giving you some access steps to do with podcasts or maybe establishing your budget going on mint.com. Whether you realize it or not, your budget's very much changed at home. I don't know about you. My budget's very different than what it was just 60 days ago. So time to go revisit the budget from where it is today. By the way, your budget right now might give you a little comfort. One of the problems for our economy is very few of us are spending much money. And so go through your budget again. And then we're going to get into our fitness goals. And that'll bring us to the release of good old Rico's reps here, okay? So here's my man Rico. And we have a video that lasts about 12 minutes. Now here's the beautiful thing. There's a beginner level, there's an intermediate level, and then there's an advanced level. So let me kind of encourage you in this way. So Rico's going to walk us through a 2-minute warm-up. After that, he's going to demonstrate one of 4 exercises. We're going to do 4 exercises altogether, and we're going to do about 12 reps of each one. He'll demonstrate the beginner one, he'll demonstrate a middle-ranged, intermediate level, and then an advanced. Here's the thing. Just try it out. Now, if you haven't been moving that much, and again, I've been working out, but when I started working out with Rico again, I was like, I started hurting in places I didn't know I had places, if you know what I mean. You have total flexibility. Start with the beginner. Maybe some of the exercises are more up your alley. You can do the intermediate one. Some of you are already cooking with peanut oil. You've been doing your Pelotons or whatever else. You're a triathlete. You can go straight to the advanced. You can pick and choose the different levels. You can pick or choose the intervals. Take your time with it. And so you can watch it again and again and again. And so we're looking for 4 to 5 times a week to do Rico's reps. Maybe to start with, pick a lower level to start with and see how you feel afterwards. And then maybe the next day, rather than go from beginner to intermediate, maybe what you do is you pick 1 or 2 of the exercises to go intermediate. And so the same, if you're at intermediate, one of the exercises go to advanced. We just want to get the tires moving right now. And you might feel like looking in the mirror, you good-looking devil, you still feel great. But maybe the tires aren't as warm as you think. So take your time. Those of you who are already working out, add to it. And that's why this is going to be cool. We're going to have tens of thousands of people doing this at the same time, okay? Tens of thousands of people are joining us in this, and we're going to do it all at the same time together. We're going to get a chance to share. We're going to be sharing our success stories, what we're doing, how we're doing. By the way, all the studies that are out right now, because people are very concerned about depression in our country, and the number one across the board, the only thing all of the psychotherapists and analysts will agree on is that physical exercise right now is the number one thing you can do for yourself to reduce the effects of feeling depressed or down or even stronger emotions than that. And once you start exercising more, guess what? Some of the snacking you've been doing because you're home all the time, which is very normal, you'll start reducing the snacking. I'm speaking from experience. You know, I brought home from the office this big box of these Harvest Valley Ranch bars. You ever see them? They're like these green things. They kind of make look like it's full of fiber and stuff like that. Well, I brought it home for the kids. And so a couple of days ago, I walk out and I go, "Hey guys, we ate through an entire box of this?" And Beverly looks at me and she goes, "No, we didn't. You did." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You're the only one who eats those things." So I didn't even notice. I was having cups of tea round the clock. I was working a lot. And every time I had a cup of tea, I was grabbing a Harvest Valley Ranch bar. And guess what? I ate a whole freaking box of those. I do not remember doing that. I remember having a couple of them, but I don't remember eating the whole freaking box. So, guess what? The Harvest Valley Ranch bars are off. And the more I exercise, I don't feel like eating those things anymore. The cups of tea are out, and now I'm drinking a lot more water, and I put my little emergency orange, vitamin C in there. So the more you pick up the exercise, the better the eating is. And so time to get the body going. By the way, getting the body going, maybe losing a few pounds, feeling a little better, getting a little more active. Now all of a sudden you're looking at, you're eating a little better. Now all of a sudden you've taken your physical body, but your mental game is also improved at the same time. And that's why it's a very powerful thing. So I don't know how active you've been or you think you've been. Start with Rico's reps, build up. Now remember, in addition to Rico's reps, we have other things like, here's Rico's reps, but we also want you to walk a mile a day or run a mile a day if you're a runner, bike 5 miles a day, okay? And because you got to get moving. And so just get into the habit. A great thing to do is after dinner, go for your walk, okay? They still allow you to do that. So get in that game. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the business side of this, which is the training. So I talked about it last month, and here's the Essentials program, right? So this is our little $2 million training program. And I guess I said for the last years it was $395. I guess it was $495. I didn't even know that. So one-to-one members, it's free. Everyone else, $195. There's resources you can download. You won't get the kit, but you get the training. They've reprogrammed it so you can watch it all at one time. You can binge watch it. You can do whatever else. But here's what you can't do. You can't do the action steps all at once. So here's why this is very, very important. We front-loaded this so the first 4 weeks of the 5 Circle Fit Challenge, we have every single week, the first 4 weeks, you watching the training program, 45, 50 minutes of content, and then here's the action steps, and then go send this out, make these calls, and start getting the business up and running, okay? Now after that, I'm going to space it out. So the first 4 weeks will be very much on par. And then we're going to space it out according to how the economies and the different states are opening up. So it'll allow us some flexibility. But for right now, get in the game. If you have not taken this program, okay, it's time to do it. And if you have, let's do it again. I mean, it's going to get into the top reasons buyers and sellers want to use an agent. Here's working with the 5 types of buyers, the millennial, the move up, the relocation, how to sell a seller in this market. The 7 essentials of negotiation. I've just been involved in a couple of negotiations right now at some pretty high-end real estate stuff. And I just got to be honest with you. If these folks had watched my training program, they'd have gotten a much better deal if they just watched the training. And my wife was chuckling and laughing, listening to me on the phone in these negotiations. I'm just using, on my own real estate deals, the very same techniques that I teach. So what we want you to do, if you're new and you're new to us and you're just figuring it out, or you haven't yet registered for the Essentials program, it's $195 for you. It's $2 million for me, $195 for you. It's a hell of a deal. So what you do is just go to buffiniandcompany.com. They sent me the little graphic here, and on the bottom of the page it'll say, talk to an expert. And the box, you click on it, and up will come, someone will live chat with you right then and there. And you'll be able to use these resources that are on the BC bonus area to be able to work the program. So it's a great deal. I hope you participate in it. We want to get you up and running. Here's the bottom line. The game's about to start. It's time to get 5 Circle fit. You may not be where you think you are. I can tell you, I've gone into this first. I'm a couple of weeks into this. I thought I was in better condition than I was. I thought I was mentally doing better than I was because I've been working a lot. However, just really focusing on the physical fitness, focusing on the diet, focusing on the daily disciplines of the activities, which I've gotten back to doing, it's amazing. And what's happening is stirring the pot, stirring the pot, stirring the pot, getting the ball rolling. You need a rolling start. Your customers are going to need a rolling start. The economy is going to need a rolling start. Your state is going to need a rolling start. Our country, North America, is all over the world. There's going to be rolling starts. If you have a dead start, which is what most people are going to do, they're going to be just that. It's going to be a dead start. You will not be able to turn the engine on and hit the gas and go full speed. It's not happening. It's not happening. More damage is going to happen. So we need to get your body, mind, spirit, your family relationships up to par, and let's get your business cranking. We're a business coaching company. That's what we specialize in. So you can go right now to buffiniandcompany.com and go /BC bonus and go to right there online, and then just click on the Access Now button, and we're up and running. There's a banner right there. Get your goals, get your access points for the week, get your Rico's reps. Make sure you're registered with, if you're with your coach, make sure your coach and you are on the same page with regards to the training. Everyone else, walk through the process, and Buffco staff is here to facilitate and help you. So if you're taking the training program by yourself, we're here the whole time. So feel free to reach out to us. We're here to support and help as many people as we can. Here's the dynamic. There are going to be winners and there are going to be losers. Not because they are losers, but there are going to be winners and losers, like there is every time there's a major recession, every time there's a major problem in the market, anytime there's a major problem in society. There's people who get after it and there's people who get after. And they get after when they're going to be waiting for things to catch up. They're going to be waiting for the market to improve. You're going to get some negativity and criticism. If you're trying to be positive right now, you're going to be considered a person who's callous towards other people's suffering. If you're trying to be encouraging right now, that you're somehow checked out, not in touch with reality. It is a real dividing line coming between cynicism and optimism. And optimism is rooted in realism. I'm very, very aware of the facts. I'm very, very aware of the reports. I'm very aware, as a business owner with hundreds of employees, I'm very aware of the circumstances right now. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my community. I'm very engaged in the real estate business in a real world way, whether it be, like I said, talking to attorney generals, talking to people in the White House, talking to data people, talking to scientists, talking to specialists, talking to CEOs of hospitals. I've been all over the place. So I'm very, very aware of the actual situation. And I'm also very aware of the human condition as a coaching company. It's time to get the engine started. And we need to do it together. You know, social distancing, I will guarantee you in hindsight, if they had a chance to restate that, I think that'll be a word that they would wish they hadn't used. And we know physical distancing, and they're trying to make up. But what's happening is the dynamic is people get cut off from one another. Human beings do not do very well by themselves. Solitary confinement is not the best case. If you're home alone, if you're a single person, get connected. Get connected. Join one of our groups. Okay? Find out if you can get connected to one of the Buffini groups. Okay? All of our members should be in a group right now, and they're meeting on Zoom. They're connecting. They're interacting. You know, it's very important that self-employed people are not by themselves. We need to connect. We need to interact. I want you to connect here. I'm going to be asking you how you're doing. And we're going to start ramping up. I have a kind of a game plan of little videos I'm going to start releasing on social media here, Facebook and Instagram. And Sundays, the goal is to kind of give you some good stuff regarding maybe inspirational videos, things I've used at events, things I come across that are very inspiring. I shared Anna's Rise Up video, and we had 60,000 people watch that a few weeks ago. So every Sunday, I'm going to start releasing to you something that's inspiring and something that's encouraging. Monday is going to be Mastermind, the Memories of Mastermind, and something that's cool from our premier event that brings special memories and it really gets the juice flowing. Thursdays, we're going to have Throwback Thursdays, content pieces that I've done in the past to share with you, to really encourage you, to give you some insights, to give you some how-tos. You can participate in all of them, you can participate in none of them. But that's also a good place for you guys to connect with one another right here on social media. You can comment on the videos, but you can also say, hey, here's what's going on. You can also say, I'm struggling with this. Who has an idea? Hey, I just had this win that I didn't realize. Hey, I just did these exercises I didn't think I could do. So use the social media right here to connect, to interact. This is the 5 Circle Fit Challenge. Here's what I would say. Having a chance to do this stuff for you guys has made me better, has made me do this. I was working out with Rico yesterday, and we started off, and he goes, hey, before we begin our workout, let's do the 5 Circle Fit workouts and the stretches for the day. And you know what? I wasn't really up for it at 7 o'clock yesterday morning. But, I did it. And I did it because I was coming to talk to all of you today. So together, everyone achieves more. That's the definition of a team. And so for these next few weeks, let's come together, all in it together, every one of us. I'm in it with you. And let's do this together. 5 Circle Fit, spiritual, family, business, financial, personal. So hopefully you downloaded your resources. Hopefully you guys that haven't got the training yet, you click and get connected to one of our live chat folks. Our experts there will talk to you and get you up and running. And with that, Anna, I'm going to open it up to some questions in a minute here. But I want to start with what I'm going to do going forward every Friday is I'm going to share stories, success stories of you guys. Only these first 2 success stories are personal experiences I've had of people getting it done right now. And I'm going to give a couple of shout outs to a couple of individuals. And what I love about this is that they're on different ends of the spectrum. One is just starting his career and is a 28-year-old banker. And one is a vet who's been my commercial real estate broker for almost 25 years. And he's 67 years of age. And these are people who are getting it done right now. So I'm going to give a shout out to these folks as an encouragement to all of us that stuff can get done well right now and great relationships can be made. I promise you this. People will never forget what you did for them during this period of time. I promise you. And I know many of you have done pop-bys and gifts and reaching out to your customers. And I promise you, people will never forget what you've done for them. And I'm going to share a couple of people that I'll never forget what they've done for me at this time. And so, like many people that own small businesses, we've been trying to navigate the current banking environment. And to say the least, it has not been a smooth process. So about 3-4 weeks ago, our CFO, Jim Paulzine, got a phone call from a young man named Kevin Fisk, F-I-S-K. He's 28 years of age. He's with SunWest Bank in Irvine. He's a devotee of the Brian Buffini Show. He listens to it religiously. I guess his brother had some kind of business relationship with Buffini Company in the past and turned him onto the podcast. So he listens religiously every Tuesday, knows all the content, loves it. When I recommend a book, he gets the book. So he saw what was coming here with the banking industry and anticipated a need. Follow the line now. This is beautiful working by referral. Put 2 and 2 together. Got his hustle cap on. Talked to his brother. Hey, can you get me an introduction into Buffini Company? Got referred in to our CFO, Jim Paulzine. Jim's like, man, I never heard of SunWest Bank in Irvine. We connect. He said, hey, I'm going to give you the first class treatment here, okay? And I'm going to take great care of you guys. And this young man has followed through several times a day, connecting, interacting, and has navigated this environment for us beautifully. And we are now a customer of Kevin Fisk and SunWest Bank. And so any of you looking for a business banking relationship in Southern California, here's this young man who put his hustle cap on, anticipated a need, met a need, got a referral in the door, got an endorsement in the door, made high expectations and then has exceeded those expectations and done a beautiful job. And he's done a real solid service for me and Buffini and Company and all our staff. And I will, like I said, here's my endorsement to 100,000 people today. And that's what happens when you do great things right now. Another example is here's good old Ron King. Ron King with Kidders Matthews has done 2 commercial real estate deals for me during this time. Now, he's 67 years of age, been in the business, been one of the best commercial brokers in the country for a long time. I call him the king of commercial real estate. And he's done, you name a deal, he's done it. But here he is in the midst of this environment, when the title companies are working from home, when I had to do some notarizing and I had to meet the notary in the middle of a parking lot. It looked like a drug deal. And they put the documents on the thing and stepped back, and I had the mask and the gloves. And here's a guy that adapted, has connected, has interacted, and put 2 very, very large real estate transactions together for me in the last 4 or 5 weeks, in the midst of this time. And so Ron King, my man, shout out to you. Best commercial broker I know. Here's the thing, folks. People are doing business right now. People are serving their customers right now. People are exceeding people's expectations right now. People are making deposits in people's emotional bank accounts right now. And like I said, people will remember, good and bad. I'll remember the people that didn't stand up during this time. I'll remember the businesses that flaked out. I'll remember that stuff. But I'll also remember the people who stood up and got it done. And so will your customers, and so will you. And that's why an example of that for us is doing this 5-circle fit for all of you. And we want to stand up for you. We want you to stand up for yourself, stand up for your family, stand up for your customers, and together we're going to stand up with some great, strong business. So again, Kevin Fisk, SunWest Bank, shout out. Ron King, you too. Next week, my goal is to be reading off one of your testimonials. Next week, my goal is to be asking you for who has a success story out there. On Thursday, I'm going to be putting a post on Facebook. Let us know what you're doing, what you're up to. And my assistant Jeanette's going to reach out to some of you. And next week, I'll be reading off someone else's story here. Tell us a story of a client you served, of how you've helped, and how you made a major deposit in their bank account, whether it turned into a transaction or not. So we'll be telling your story next week, and I'm excited for that. Okay, with all that said, Anna, why don't we open it up? It's time for some Q&A with the good folks out there.
People are fired up out there.
All right.
Beverly Taylor asks, will the Essentials program work for a different industry, specifically commercial insurance?
Sure. So here's what we found. We're a real estate training and coaching company. However, Beverly, 47 different industries not in real estate use our coaching and training services. And so if you're in a business that has a database, you need relationships and referrals, then the systems are just great for you, because we have things that will help you with non-specific real estate pieces. So thousands of people who are not in real estate have taken these training programs. Our niche is real estate, but because there's not great training out there, over the years, many great realtors, many of our great mentors across the country, I think of the Odells in Kansas City, and I popped by them one time when they were having a class, and more than half their 50 or 60 people taking the class live were not in real estate. So if you have work with a database, relationships, and need referrals, our training will help you.
Eric Maravish, aloha Brian. I live in Princeville, Kauai, where we have a predominantly secondary vacation rental housing market.
Yep.
Would you recommend your program be tailored differently for this market?
Absolutely not. And aloha to you. I'm going to say this to you. My bride and I, kind of our nightly activity right now in the last 3 to 4 weeks has been looking at second homes. Okay? So you know. In Hawaii and other places. And so just so you know, people are interested. People are connected. Now is the time to be reaching out to people. Now, what it is, by the way, one of the big challenges that people have right now with some of the states that have locked people down in certain degrees, and I understand what they're trying to do, is in certain states you've been not allowed to go to your second home. Now, one of the reasons for that is the thinking is, hey, we don't have a lot of medical in some of these areas. So I understand that. But people's second homes, in some cases, are almost more important to them than their primary residence. So you need to lay the groundwork. You need to build relationships. You need to connect. I promise you, people are in their homes. The stats are very clear. 35% of people surveyed in a 50,000 home survey said they plan a home improvement project in the next 90 days. Home improvement and home movement are very connected. People are going to be moving. Once the job market stabilizes, which it will, people are going to be moving. People are going to be looking to move, and people who are in a stable position are going to be looking for those second homes. So invest now. You know, by the time the opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. That's why there's going to be winners and losers. What we're in right now is a season of preparation for the opportunity. When the opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. Green flag's down, the gates open, the race has begun, and there's cars that are going to be stuck. So if you're in the second home market, now you got a longer trail, but so now you need to get going, build the relationships, connect, reach out, give people something to look at. Man, you're in beautiful Princeville. Let people see what's out there. Let them see how warm Hawaii is right now. Show them pictures of beautiful empty beaches. Give them something to hope for. The NFL draft gave people a little glimpse of something to hope for last night. You do the same with your second home market.
Lauren Lingwood, hello from Central Massachusetts.
All right.
We have a market showing very promising signs. I am wondering how the ever-increasing unemployment rates are going to impact the market. Things seem promising now, but I fear that unemployment rates may change the positive outlook for this summer.
Look, unemployment rates are going to change, but remember this. We have never, there are two phrases I hope to never see again: unprecedented and social distancing. I hope after 2020 we lose those as well. But what's unprecedented for real is there's never been this many people become unemployed so quickly. Okay? It took 10 years to get 24 million new jobs. We've lost 25 million jobs in 5 weeks. All of those 25 million jobs are not going away. They're not. Now, all of those 25 million jobs are not coming back, but a whole bunch of them will. And it'll be bit by bit by bit, but it'll be in chunks. And like I said, you're in central Massachusetts. Massachusetts is one of the hardest hit states in the country right now, and you're saying, hey, there's promising signs. There is pent-up demand. We are looking at record low interest rates. We were in a cooking hot economy 50-some days ago. It was, of all the unemployment we had even more record numbers than expected. Now, 50 days ago was a different world, and it's a different world right now. And everybody talks about this new normal and stuff like that. Look, think of your own experience. Post 9/11, a lot of things changed right at that time, and then some things changed, and then there was a few things left changed permanently. I think working from home, more people are going to do that more frequently. For me, I've been able to get in some projects done far more efficiently on Zoom than I was in meetings. I also will tell you there's gaps by not being physically connected in the same place. So there will be some changes. Some of these jobs are going to come back. Again, I'm working on real-time data right now from 7 different sources. I hope within the next 2 weeks to be able to present to you a pretty nice forecast of rolling re-employment. You can kind of guess where the stock market thinks it is, right? Now, you can't believe everything the stock market says, like you saw what happened with oil. That's all to do with futures and things and oil contracts. So oil dipped to negative and things like that. So you can't read too much into it. However, the stock market went from 29,000 plus down to 18,000, and now it's in the 24, 25 range sometimes. That tells you where they think we are third and fourth quarter, okay? So we were talking about this V-shaped recovery. I think it's going to be this. We went into it like this, and it's going to be this staggered, jagged approach back, okay? It'll mean first-time buyers, there won't be as many of them. It means multiple offers, probably not as many of them. We're also looking at people who are a little bit less reluctant to put their house on the market, so the housing shortage continues. I listened to Mark Cuban the other day going, hey, don't pay full price for anything, make lowball offers. I'm sorry, Mark, you don't know real estate. You just don't. The dynamics on the pricing. We're actually looking at middle-priced homes possibly being higher at the end of the year than they are now. High-priced homes, top end of the market, probably going to see a softening because of stocks. Okay, so a lot of talking heads out there, not a lot of experts. You're going to see rolling re-employment. You're going to see it's going to come in chunks, millions at a time. And the housing market will stabilize as a result of it. We still got a housing shortage. Again, By the time that data is real, it's too late to prepare. It's too late to be sharp. The opportunity is there and the preparation is gone. That's why 5 Circle Fit is essential.
Mason Winder, what do you think about sharing the 5 Circle Fit Challenge program with my database and inspiring everyone to do this challenge with me to connect better with them?
Great idea, and that's why none of us are as smart as all of us. Who gave that idea?
Mason Winder.
Mason, great idea. Why not get your customers involved? Why not? It's a free program. Knock it out. Why don't you let them know the kind of network you're a part of, the kind of professionalism you're involved in, the kind of group you part of. There's nothing I'm ever going to say that won't ever be something you won't be proud to present to one of your customers. So absolutely, great idea. I didn't think of it. Share 5 Circle Fit with your customers. Share the podcast with your customers. This one that's coming up on Tuesday. Absolutely, your customers should listen to that. It's called The Coming Rebound with a guy with tremendous authority, 30 years in the real estate business, not Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. And I like Mark Cuban, by the way, and I like the Mavericks. But he's in no position to talk like Dave Stevens is, who is the Assistant Secretary of HUD, who's quoting 5 different economists and giving real-time information. Share that stuff with your customers. Get them involved with the 5 Circle Fit. Get your family involved with the 5 Circle Fit. My guys, tonight we're going to be standing around doing Rico's reps together. So they'll roll their eyes, but they'll enjoy the workout.
Rita, hello from Orange County, California.
Hey there.
How do you handle the negativity and criticism you get for working and trying to do what we're supposed to do?
So you can imagine, I've talked to over 1 million people in the last 5 weeks. And some of those people are outraged by what I'm sharing. Outraged. I get comments on social media that are outraged because I dare to be positive. There are people dying. Yeah, there are. There's people die every day. If I got coronavirus and I have elevated blood pressure as an underlying condition, and I passed away in the next 90 days, I'd want all of you to kick butt, take names, and finish the 5 Circle Fit Challenge. Because it's a philosophy. You have to understand that when you dare to be good and great, you're going to take some criticism. Especially in this environment. I'm telling you right now, there are media outlets right now that will never recover from this. And the reason being is they sensationalize things, and at a time when people's emotions were so raw and their nerves were on the outside looking in, these guys exploited the situation. And much of the drama that's been communicated and much of the exaggerations that have taken place, people won't be forgetting that either. And so you need to understand, there are people, it's right now, people's philosophies are getting exposed. And so, like I said, there's people who believe. I'll put a name to it. The guy who invented Obamacare went on national news and said the country has to be shut down for 18 months. Now here's the thing. That might eradicate a virus. That will eradicate a country. And you have choices to make. You have to decide what you want. 4,000 people died this year from choking on food. We don't shut down the country over that. I believe they've done the best they can. I believe they were right to do this stuff. But I'm going to say this to you. I can't control what the governor of California is going to do. I can't control that we can't go to the beach here in San Diego. That's what we pay all the money for, to live here. But at some point in time, things are going to change. I'm going to be ready for when those things change. I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to prepare now. I'm going to be positive now. I'm going to be encouraging now. And I promise you, people will never forget how you made them feel during this time. If you feel encouraged listening to me, you go do that for your database. You go do that for your family and pass it on. And I promise you, the right type of people, the right type of customers, and there's also people during a crisis, they let themselves down. And that's okay. And afterwards, they have regret. Don't you regret playing small to make them feel comfortable. Don't do that.
From Gail Grove, what should we say to clients who have lost a ton of money in their 401k?
So, have people lost money in their 401k? Absolutely. And absolutely not. Gail, nobody loses anything if they don't sell. If you bought stock in a 401k, you haven't lost anything. It means currently the market's down. And if you're an investor for the long haul, the market will come back. Oh, by the way, the market's already come back a bunch. It went from 29,000 down to 18,000, and now it's back up to 24,000, okay? So it lost 12,000 points, and it's already regained 6,000 points in 5 weeks. In 5 weeks. You know, I know this has been challenging, but here's the thing. They gave us 15 days to stay inside, and then they added another 30. Altogether, April 30th, it's 45 days. It's not the end of the world. Now, it also shows, it exposes where we are, that people didn't have 45 days worth of reserves or savings and those kinds of things. But remember this, gal. Nobody's lost a dime in the stock market if they haven't sold. You haven't lost a dime. You haven't lost a dime until you sell. And if they're an investor, tell them to keep their eyes on the big prize. For example, what if 5 years from now the stock market's at 40,000? How much did they lose? Nothing. So that's the big perspective. And the other bigger perspective is that real estate hasn't gone down hardly at all. So remember that. You don't lose if you sell. It's the feeling of loss. It's the feeling of loss. But Brian, I'm looking at my statement. Did you sell out? Did you sell out? Did you sell out at 18,000? Then you lost. But if your money's still invested, your money's going to work. And if you're adding to it, it's buying more stock right now at cheaper prices. So when the rebound does happen, you're in great shape. 14, 18 months from now, we might be right back to 30,000. I'm not saying we will, but I'm not saying we won't either. And so here's the thing. They haven't lost anything. Keep your eyes on the big prize. Be a big boy, big girl. Listen to Warren Buffett. Okay? He views it in 5-year increments. And he's no young puppy, right? He's 90 years of age, I think, now. So think long term. You haven't lost anything.
Pam Sullivan from North Carolina. I'm new to the industry, still taking my pre-broker class and so excited. What's the best training to start with?
Thank you for the softball, Pam. Well, we have a program called Essentials, and it's kind of essential that you know it, okay? So you can't find a better place. I'm sure there's hundreds of comments right here of people who've already taken this program who are going to take it again. It's a great place to start. And by the way, people are going to say this to you, Pam, in North Carolina. Oh my God, what a terrible time to get into the business. Oh my God, the market's terrible. Oh my God, you should go back to waiting tables. You should go back to doing whatever. That's what you're going to hear. I remember as a young agent when the Gulf War broke out, and everyone in the office was telling me, oh, it's too bad. Market's going in the tank. San Diego's losing all these jobs, all that stuff. In 1990, I sold twice as many homes as I did in 1989. And in 1991, I sold twice as many homes as I did in 1990. And in 1992, I doubled my net income over the previous year. People were telling me how terrible the market was. You know, I came from Ireland. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I thought the business was the greatest business I'd ever seen. And I sold a bunch of houses, and I made a great bunch of clients, and I made friends for life who are customers, who are still my friends today. And so there's lots of people who are going to tell you how terrible it is. Yeah, I'm glad you're excited. Be excited. This is a tough business, but it's a wonderful business. It's the funnest thing I've ever been a part of. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but you know what? I prefer the roller coaster to the merry-go-round. And so welcome to the business. I'm glad you started with us. Get into the essentials. Start day one. Away you go.
Moira Shea asks, I wanted to know how you would recommend handling all the advice and information we are getting. I am hearing from brokerages, lenders, escrow, coaching firms, athletic trainers, spiritual leaders, friends, family, etc.
Yep.
It's just so much to sort through.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say, almost for my own sake, in trying to do these, because I'm doing some broadcasts and things like that, I'm almost overwhelmed with the amount of data I'm getting. I've got all of our research team giving stuff to me and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you got to have your compass. You know, hopefully you have a spiritual compass. Hopefully you have a set of values as your compass. Hopefully you've gotten some good input from parents and grandparents, and you have your values and what you believe in. Otherwise, you get blown around by every wind. I would also tell you to limit your exposure to certain things, because the news media right now is demonstrating that it's no longer a news media. It's purely and simply, it's clickbait. And they're doing it, I'm telling you, it's atrocious on all sides. And it's sensationalized, and it's designed to get as many eyeballs looking as possible. So you have to dig to the research and dig to the reports. So, for example, on Tuesday, I have Dave Stevens, the former Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development and the CEO Emeritus of the Mortgage Bankers Association. Well, he mentions 4 different sources for data. Now, I do my best to get that information, distill it to you, but why don't you guys be even better than that? And go to those sources yourself and read it. Go read Zandy. Go read Case-Shiller reports. Go do the homework. But don't let your emotions be blown around by every wind of sensationalism that comes down the pike. And there's remarkable sensationalism. I mean, it is. I've watched people that I've looked at for years that I had levels of respect for, that I've lost a lot of respect for because of how over dramatic they're being, and that I know the damage they're doing to people's psyches and emotions in the meantime. And that's why I want you to pour your energies into the 5-circle fit. You know what? There's certain data you can have. How much do I weigh? What's my heart rate? How out of gas am I after a warm-up? How many reps was I able to do? Was I able to do the beginner levels? Was I able to do the intermediary levels? How many contacts did I make? How many notes did I send? How many calls did I do? How many referrals have I generated? How much of the fires have I stoked up? You can control that. You cannot control anything that's coming through the goggle box, okay? So I know many of you have a bunch more questions. We've spent an hour. I hope this has been a valuable hour for you. I want to be positive. I want to be encouraging, and I want to be a realist for you. Remember this statement. I've said it many times today. We need to do the rolling start because opportunity is coming. But when the opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. There are people who are going to be left at the starting line. You're going to do the rolling start. There's cars that are never going to go because they go, that doesn't look like it's making much movement. That doesn't look like they're improving very much. It's time to go. It's time to begin the race. I got the headgear on. I'll be calling into you. I want to hear your results. I want to hear how you're doing. It's the 5-Circle Fit Challenge, baby, and it starts today.